This is what we're looking at today. Some of them have very faded flowers. Some of them are fresh and bright. It's coming from a cluster of stems over here, and I have a bunch of specimens of it going the whole way down the hill. And we're gonna have to go down the hill in a little bit to look, because that's where the fruit are. I have notes. I can't focus at close range, so we'll just have to kind of cope. With what we do have as far as my focal distance. So the reason I'm focusing in on this so close, and here's a fruit, and here's a bunch more, flowers and fruit alike, is because I feel like I have a mystery on my hands, and I have done for quite a while. You see, that is genus Lycium. There are many common names for genus Lycium, and there are occurrences of genus Lycium native in every region of the world. Just about. You know, I mean, let's exclude places like the tundra, right? But here's the fruit ripe. And a little buggo, get out of here, you stink bug, I don't want you, you're evil, go. Yeah. So. The stems are long arching. We have boxthorn as a word for it, wolfberry, matrimony vine. So many different words for this particular plant, but the one that you'll see this species actually marketed under, but it's really only one species, I guess. The genus, one species is called goji berry, so yes, you do recognize this. However, I have my doubts that this is the Lycium barbarum, though the native varieties that I could find that it looks similar to also aren't quite native to this range, and they aren't quite hardy to this range either. But specimens of this particular plant occur. There's a very well-aged one just above the landslide that I go and maintain. And I have probably, you know, like doot. That's, and then there's one here and one there and one there and here. There's one above where I was digging the seat in. There's one in between almost every pot down at the sunchokes that are chewed down. Right here. And as I make my way across, there's one here, one here, one here. And I can recognize them going off into the distance. Oh, another. There's just a bazillion of them on this hillside. There's at least 25 just within the section that I'm actively cultivating. And yeah, here's another one. You can see the trunk of the flower is short, and the coloration of the flower is very dark until it ages, and then it begins to fade, and the center has these yellow markings, and the stamens are yellowy. And here's one that's starting to fade. So there are native varieties. Oh good, garden huckleberry. Not quite ripe yet though. There are native varieties When I plugged it into a plant finder, it said Lycium berlandieri, Berlandier's Lycium, Berlandier's boxwood, which is southwest and native to zone 7. Now, since this hill is south facing, that's a possibility I'm zone 6. So zone 7 south facing hill, maybe. The other one that it looks more like is Lycium Carolinianum, which is the farthest north of its range is South Carolina. So that is zone 8. We'll go get a closer look from below of how many there are down here. Hi friends, all the plants. There's a bunch down in, yeah, here's one that's just arcing that way. Here's one that has good branching pattern. We'll go over and see it. It does get thorny spurs, but the thorny spurs then turn into side branches, which sometimes break and die, other times live. Here's another version of it here, and here, and here. They're all over the place. But that one's not very well fruited or flowered. It seems to not be getting pollinated over there or something. So those are two varieties that are either too far out of my range, here's another one, or are, you know, somewhat likely. But the one that's berlandieri is native to like California and Arizona, so it also likes really dry situations. So what I'm trying to determine is this one of the goji berries, which would be a China plant, China native plant instead of a North American native plant, or is this one of our natives? It's of course got some bug damage on it. So basically, is my hill covered in an invasive that happens to have useful properties, and you know, isn't my fault, I didn't do it, it just so happens to be here. And it looks like it actually started over there just due to the age of that particular plant. So barbarum is proper goji berry, and Chinense is, oh, that's a pretty shot. Chinense is the variety also from China, but of a lesser food quality. You can notice these berries are pretty small compared to what you see in the photos of an actual goji berry. I seem to see them looking about that big, and these ones are very small. This really looks like Lycium Carolinianum as far as its features. So it's really driving me nuts. And part of the reason I want to get this question answered is I want to know what level of risk it is for me to then bring in a goji berry. Would I be corrupting the genetics of a native variety, or is this already an invasive? Because if this happens to be a native variety that's always been here, I'd love to keep the genetics of it pure. Whereas if it is a variety that was introduced years ago and is definitely an invasive, which frankly is near to the city as I am, hi Pittsburgh, as near to the city as I am, I wouldn't be too surprised if it's an invasive either. So, I would really like people's thoughts. If you happen to recognize it or have interacted with various different, our native rusty patch bumblebee likes it. If you happen to have interacted with something like it, I would really like to know your input. And as a side, there's a closer look at the zigzag goldenrod. And rusty patch bumblebee enjoying that too. So, Yeah. Well, at any rate, I would really like your input. Any thoughts you might have. Now these ones are pointier. That is a bit Chinense looking from the photos I was looking at. So yeah, if you know, I would love to know if you have any thoughts or resources. That would be super useful, and I will link some of the research articles that I dug up in trying to figure this out below, so that you'll be able to have a peek. And we'll just all right. I hope you're having a good one. Take care. Bye.